All right, guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. It is international break. It's been sort of the usual thing, a couple of big teams getting big results, a draw here and there. England obviously drawing to Poland in the last game, not ideal, but it's not the worst result in the world considering they are the biggest sort of threat to our position in the group. But today we're going to bring something different. So if I just share my screen, you should be all able to see sort of a tier list sort of format, 1 to 25. You are 25, arguably 25 best managers in the world on the bottom. Me and Jack are going to just try to rank them where we think they are, sort of based on their whole careers and a bit about where they are right now as managers as well. So Jack, you ready?
Yep, ready.
All right, first manager, Didier Deschamps. Obviously, he's led France to World Cup glory now. Not the best Euros last year, but obviously got the Euro finals in 2016 as well.
Yeah.
Where do you think he lies in this list?
Was it 1 to 25?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the other managers on there. Well, if I say, like you said, he's won the World Cup with France, got him to the Euro final in 2016. And yeah, didn't perform well this Euros, but still won a World Cup. So I'm thinking maybe between either 6 and 10 or 11 and 16. I'm not sure what positions yet, but I think in that category, but I'm not sure which one. So what do you think?
Yeah, I would lean more towards 11 to 15, I think. Like I said, last Euros wasn't as good as what I think everyone expected. Sorry if you need the train in the background as well. It's going to be a bit loud. I think 11 to 15 is just in the middle as well. It just helps us out later on, but you can't really put him below that because he has achieved probably the hardest trophy to get in football, even though he did have sort of the better teams. So I think that's just maybe if this was like 2 years ago, he'd be top 10. But right now, I think he has sort of declined with that French squad. Didn't have the best international break this break either.
Yeah.
So put that there. Next one, Marco Rowe is an interesting one. Sort of, just starting to get that big opportunity at Dortmund.
Yeah.
Hasn't got off to the best start as well, but there are promising signs there. Would you put him lower than Deschamps?
I think I'm not too sure. Well, no, I think you have to. I'm not sure if he's actually won anything. Like you said, he's good up and like he's got from. He went to gone now to Dortmund, like you said. Hasn't had a great start, but he's still, I think, a decent manager and has potential. But I don't think we've seen enough of him. So he's gonna have to, like from the Champs, he's gonna have to be below him. It's just whether he's gonna be in that category as well. But I'm thinking maybe more towards 18 to, is that what? 16 to 20, sorry.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think you might have to drop him down later, I reckon, with other managers on this list. But, it is difficult to judge him compared to some of the other managers who have had, a bit more success in their time. Next one, Luis Enrique. He did a brilliant job at Barca. Obviously, he had the Messi, Suarez, Neymar combo to work with. Won the Champions League there. Obviously, he's the manager of when they beat PSG 6-1 as well. Then now at Spain, I think overachieved is probably the word to use for the Euro campaign. I think with the squad they had, anyone expected them to reach the semis, especially with the other teams involved. They got such a young squad as well with a couple of more very experienced players, sort of almost too experienced for calling that. So personally, I'll put him top 10, but where would you put him?
It's a big show. Yeah, I think, like you said, he had an amazing team at Barcelona with the Neymar, Messi, Suarez. The fantastic team. And yeah, like I think this Euros with Spain, I think they actually did quite well. Were they losing a semi-final?
Yeah, Dion Pence.
Yeah, the semi-final to Italy. So again, semi-final didn't. I don't think anyone expected to get there, to be honest. So you got said they did overachieve. You said he won a Champions League, didn't
he? Yeah.
I can't quite remember. Yeah, he did. So yeah, and that's a big achievement. So yeah, I'm happy to go top 10.
All right. put him 6 to 10 for now. Then when the other man just comes in, we'll get a sort of better idea of where to put him. Next one is Simone Inzaghi. So a bit like Marco Rose, sort of closer to the start of his managerial career. Spent 6 years as Lazio's sort of youth coach. They made a step up the last 5 years. Won the Coppa Italia with them 2 seasons ago, and he's won the Super Cup for them twice as well. And now this season, he's at Inter Milan, sort of carrying on from where Conte left off with that championship winning team. So, like I said, a bit similar to Marco Rose, but a bit more established in the way that he has won more trophies and he's sort of that spot at Inter Milan. So, would you have to put him above Marco Rose or the sort of similar area?
I would say maybe the area, but I'd put him in a higher position, maybe.
Yeah.
Would be my opinion, because like you said, he's won a few trophies and that's what you got to do, manager. You got to win trophies. So, like you said, he's still up and coming, but he's got that start where Marco Rose doesn't.
Yeah. The next one, I believe, is Julian Nagelsmann. He's done a very, very young manager. When you talk about the start of their careers, these guys are still way older than him, which is crazy to think. He's done a pretty admirable job at Leipzig. His last year's Champions League group was pretty, the hardest one there. He got them out of that into the Champions League knockout rounds. The season before that, in the sort of the different sort of one-legged version of Champions League, he did get them to the semis, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
And now he's at Bayern, won the Super Cup already against Dortmund. And, I think they've only lost one game in the Bundesliga. I might be wrong on that, but definitely dropped points. But probably one of the most promising managers there are, but he's already been around for what feels like a long time. So where do you put him in this?
Again, I think he's a very good manager. I'd put them above the two people we have just put in the 60 to 20. But again, I don't think he's won any trophies yet.
Yeah.
So again, that's a big. So it's hard to say because we put him above Rose because he's won trophies. But then I would put as a manager Nagelsmann above both of them, but he hasn't won a trophy either.
Yeah.
So, but as a manager, I'm thinking maybe even to the 11 to 15, maybe. But what about you?
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'd say as a manager, I would put him above Marco Rose personally. In terms of, it's easy to compare those two in terms of how they've done in the Bundesliga. I think he's above him. Inzaghi as well, he's done well at Lazio, but in terms of sort of Champions League and European, where they've done in that is not as good as Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
So I would put him in that 11 to 15 category. It's a tough one with Deschamps right now to see who's above who. Club manager and international manager is a bit harder to compare, I think. But I would put him in that category for now, and let's see where he ends up a bit later on. Cool. Then we've got Ten Hag, Ajax manager of when they won that amazing Champions League run a few years ago before losing to Spurs in the semi-finals. It's a weird one. Ajax, it's difficult for them to keep their big players, obviously. They had De Ligt, De Jong, Van der Beek, all these guys. They're sort of coming to that stage again. Players like Gravenberch coming through. He's a fantastic player, but like we almost said with Enrique in Spain, that season was an overachievement, but they haven't quite hit those heights yet since that point.
Again, yeah.
So on this list, so bearing that in mind, but also where they are now and the club in general, they would prefer to sell their big talents and get more through. So factoring all that in, how good of a manager is he?
I think he's a very good manager. Like you said, he's been working for a long time with younger players.
Yeah.
He's never actually had a squad for 4, 5, 6 years, the same players, 2 years, and then their best players are sold. So I think he keeps changing every year. I think he's a very good manager. I think I'm not sure if I think their league got suspended of COVID, didn't it? And they won it. Yeah, so he still wins the league. So I think he's a very good manager as well. So my opinion, I've put him quite high on this list. Yeah, it's a tough one whether to go 6 to 10 or 11 to 15. What do you think?
Yeah, I can agree. I could go 6-10 with him. I think again he's one of the more promising managers, in terms of just in the world. Style of football is good, sort of fits Ajax sort of football, which everyone sort of loves to watch as well. And he's not in an easy position. I think at that club is I think he would prefer to keep all those players that they saw over the last few seasons. But working with what he's got and the way he's developing these young players and bringing them through is sort of what you want at your own club. So
yeah,
for now, I'm gonna put him in 6-10. Then we'll see where it goes. And let me just quickly close my window so that train is a bit quieter. All right. Now, next on the list, I cannot see properly that is, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. Who on earth is? I want to say that's the Lille manager. Yeah, it's the Lille manager.
okay.
So obviously, they've won the league campaign in the last season. It was I think it's fair to say it's a bit of a shock when you beat PSG to it. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I can't lie, but his first name I believe is Jocelyn. So we'll call him that. But this might be last season's one. If it is, it's Gaultier. So I think it's last year's one. So go Gaultier. He's with Nice now, but he was Lille manager. He's been managing pretty much Ligue 1 throughout his whole career. But he's won the French Cup with Saint-Etienne and he's won Ligue 1 with Lille. For me,
I don't know too much about him, but what they did is a very shock. It was a big shock because PSG should walk that league every year. So what they did was fantastic, won the league. But in this list, I can't put him any higher than maybe the bottom.
Yeah.
Not as exactly 30, because I'm sure there's one other person in there who's going to get that. But I do think he's in the, sorry, not 30, 25, but I do think maybe he's in the 21 to 25 category.
Yeah, I agree there. It's difficult to compare French League to everything else because it is sort of a bit lower ranked. Can't really see him in the Champions League this year because he's managing Nice now, but Lille have lost a couple of players over the last few years, so to win the league as well with the team he had, and not only against PSG, against that Monaco side as well, who were very good, and Lyon as well. Those three are all Champions League, Europa League teams, whereas Lille, we don't really associate them with that sort of stuff at the moment. But I do agree with you. I think he would be going in that 21, 25 category. The next one's an interesting one. Mauricio Pochettino. Good football, but no trophies. Well, he's got trophies now, but no notable trophies there.
Yeah.
So just French Cups, and that's about it. Got Spurs to a Champions League final. Propelled Spurs up the table as well. He's got them to be sort of a Champions League, Europa League team almost certainly every season now. He's with PSG now. He's got a fantastic team to work with. Fantastic front three, Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi. But like I said, the trophies aren't there yet. But this year could happen. So where would you rank him in terms of what he's done so far?
I think he was very good at Southampton.
Yeah.
As well. Then, like you said, he came to Spurs, changed Spurs as a club, as a team. I think they excelled under him. Like you said, exciting football, attacking football, Champions League final. Obviously, shame they didn't win it, and a few times in Champions Leagues. I think Spurs fans can admit he was very naive in his tactics, and maybe that was just his lack of experience in that at that time. But got his move to PSG, like you said, a fantastic squad, and should challenge for the Champions League. And I think he's a very good manager. It's whether he just misses out the top 5. It's gonna. You would. What do you think? Do you think he's top 5?
No, I would have to go 6-10 personally. I don't think a manager who hasn't won a notable trophy can go top 5. And PSG should have still won the league last season, in my opinion. He failed to do that. Although he's only there for a couple of months, he still should have done that. There is a bit of, from what we've seen at the start of the season, PSG are becoming sort of a better team mentally, I think. I don't think they're sort of as fragile mentally as they were last season from what we've seen so far. But if this was at the end of the season, maybe it would be a bit of a clearer thing to where he would be. But right now, I don't think you can put him first top 5 compared to other managers on this list.
Yeah, fair enough, 100%.
Yeah. But I would put him above Ten Hag, personally, from what he's done. Next one, Thomas Tuchel. Obviously, Champions League winner now with Chelsea in half a season. So not easy job to do, but he's sort of done a great job with that team. Got there with PSG as well, but lost to, he had Mbappe in him, but he lost to a very good Bayern side. Did a good job at Dortmund as well. Right now, would you say he's top 5 in the world?
I think right now, I think the impact he's had on Chelsea, after the first, what did he have? A couple of training sessions, if that, maybe 2. And the first game, you could see what he was doing. He's changed Chelsea, won in the Champions League when no one thought it was possible. And got them from low league to finishing in the top 4.
Yeah.
So I think right now he has to be in the top 5, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think what he's done with Chelsea in a short amount of time is brilliant. He did what at the max he could at PSG, won every trophy available, apart from the Champions League, of course, but came very close to that. But yeah, I think it's a good chance to win the Premier League this season as well. And right now, you can't really fault him throughout his career. And right now, like you said, Chelsea are one of the best teams in the world. So, and he's a big part of that, I think, with his tactics. So, I think no option but to put him there. Next one is Stefano Pioli, AC Milan manager. Milan slowly climbing up the sort of Serie A table. They were in the sort of title race for a long time last season, but just couldn't hold on at the end to sort of just start dropping more points. He hasn't won any trophies yet with as a manager, but I think it's fair to say he's 21, 25. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah.
Next one is someone who does have a lot of opinion. Bielsa. He's got Leeds back into the Premier League after a long, long time. Many managers couldn't do it, to be fair. And he's kept them up as well. But the tactics are very hit or miss, I think, under him. They either work very well or they get bad like they do every season against United. But it seems like he was, I believe, in the top 3 managers for the best awards last year as well, after they got promotion. Where does he rank for you in this list?
Like you said, it does divide a big opinion. People think, he's a very good manager with his tactics, his how he plays. Some people goes, well, he's very naive, man to man. If they get runners, they get battered like they do against United. But difficult because he's at Leeds, I don't think their expectations are to win trophies, So because they would like to, but he hasn't. I don't know if he. Where was he before Leeds? Do you know?
I will check for you right now.
Because obviously, let's see what he does before. But you know what? Like you said, he's got Leeds back into the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like a lot of managers didn't do. Finished mid-table. I think last year they had a good season. The players. He drives their players into the ground, with training and that. But I think their players like playing under him. He's a good manager, but I've put him 11 to 15.
Okay, well, I got some things to maybe sway up this year. So before Leeds, he was at Lille for a season, Lazio for a season. Before that, Marseille, Bilbao, Chile, Argentina manager as well. With Argentina, he did win Olympic gold in 2004. The Copa America runners up that year as well with him. Europa League runner-up with Bilbao in 2012. Then he's won the championship with Leeds.
Yeah. Are you trying to persuade me to put in top 10 then?
I would say
you think he belongs
11 to 15.
Yeah,
Look at his career as a whole.
Yeah.
Olympic goal with Argentina is impressive. So is Copa America runner-up.
Yeah.
He's done fairly well in Europe with Bilbao as well. So
Championship with Leeds. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think 11 to 15 would be fair to him. Probably wouldn't put him above Nagelsmann and Deschamps, but now I think that's a fair ranking of him.
Yeah.
Next up, Carlo Ancelotti, back at Madrid now. He's had a long managerial career, so let me get up those honours. But
very long.
As a manager, how do you rate him?
What he's done, he's had a very good managerial career. Like I said, back at Madrid for the second time, he had a good first spell. Everton last year, I think they were good, but weren't great. I think they were just average. So maybe we could have done a bit better there. But I think everywhere he's been, he wins. So he's a top class manager. Just at the whether he's still out there at the moment, yet to be seen. But from his career, he's been a top class manager.
Yeah, so we'll balance his 50-50 as where he is now and throughout his career. Everything, like I said, propelled him on the table, playing better football, but probably should have got a European spot at the end of things. But okay, so as a manager, he won Serie A with Milan. He won 2 Champions Leagues with them and came as a runner-up once as well. Obviously, for that Liverpool Istanbul game, he's runner-up. Won the FIFA Club World Cup with them as well, and a couple of Super Cups. Chelsea won the Premier League and FA Cup double with them in the 9-10 season. PSG won League 1. Real Madrid won Copa del Rey and I believe their 10th Champions League he was manager when they won 4-1 against Madrid. Against Bayern, it was a bit disappointing because he couldn't get that Champions League with them, but he did win the Bundesliga. Yeah. And he's got a lot of individual sort of managerial awards as well. So
that's some history, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Some career.
So 3 Champions Leagues, Premier League winner, Serie A winner, now back at Madrid after an interesting spell at Everton. So getting all that into sort of perspective, where does that go for you?
It's hard because obviously I'm just thinking last year at Everton he wasn't great, but with what he's won, you can't look no lower than maybe. Do I say 1 to 5? What do you think?
I think it's a difficult one because, like I said, he's probably not. Everton is hard to judge him, but throughout what he's done in his career, when you've won 3 Champions League as a manager, I don't think he could be lower than top 5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. 100%. Okay, we'll do that.
Maybe 5th because of what he's doing right now, but definitely top 5.
Yeah.
Next one is Simeone. Interesting tactical manager, a bit more defensive, a bit more aggressive, but he's transformed this Atletico Madrid side for years now. He's come so close to Champions League, but Real Madrid just keep getting there ahead of him. But he's won 2 La Ligas now, including 1 last season as well.
Yeah. He's very consistent.
Yeah. I
think, like you said, for a good couple of years now, he's kept Atletico Madrid high on the table, challenging latter stages of the Champions League. Unlucky not to probably win one, but he's been consistent for a good few years. And like you said, some people, I think he's another one. Some people might not like his tactics, too defensive, people say, but he builds his team on not conceding and trying to score a goal. That's the aim of football, don't concede and score. So I don't think you can knock him for that, but I would say he just missed out on top 5, but probably top 6 or 10 for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think maybe if he won one of the Champions League top 5, but
yeah,
he's just sort of missed out that last hurdle there. But like you said, La Liga really consistent, 2 La Liga trophies for him as well now. There's a bit of sort of doubt around him because Atletico were losing a couple of points sort of after January, but the manager hold on in the end, which is the most important thing. So I agree with you, 6 to 10. Would you put him above Poch and Enrique?
It's hard because, like you said, he's won 2 La Liga titles. Pochettino, if you want to go, Pochettino, although he's a good manager, he hasn't won any notable trophy. What did he win? Like the trophy in France, but so trophy-wise, like in general, as a successful manager, you would probably have to put him. You probably would have to put him above Pochettino in that sense.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that as well. I think he would go above Poch with me. Obviously, style of football is a different thing, but when you factor in what Simeone has won, I think just
success,
goes above Poch. Next one's a difficult one. Hansi Flick. He's Germany's assistant manager under Joachim Löw when they won the World Cup, but as a manager himself, sort of came in as interim as Bayern, won everything, and now he's Germany manager. So based off that, you can't really say he's done much wrong, can you?
No, he hasn't. Like you said, Bayern, he was fantastic. Won the Champions League. I think they played some excellent stuff. That league as well, they were just on fire. I think he won everything at Bayern that he could. I think he won the cups as well. So, like you said, he's had a short career, but a very, very successful career. But like you said, he's gotten to the best team in Germany, but the best German team aren't gonna appoint a bad manager. So I think some of these have more longevity over him, which I think's maybe putting down. But if we've got 1 to 5 in there, and I'm looking at the table there, you've got Klopp and Pep, who I think goes in there, and Mourinho. So maybe he just misses out and goes 6 to 10. Because, or maybe whether I put him down 11 to 15, I don't know. But it is the longevity. He's only had a short managerial career so far. So
like I said, because that shortness is difficult to sort of, and the fact is that Bayern is difficult to sort of judge him against these guys. But even if you're Bayern, that doesn't guarantee you the Champions League.
That's true.
They didn't just win the Champions League; they won it by winning every single game. They scored. They put 7 past Barca. You can only imagine what they could have done if it was 2-legged games.
Exactly,
they put 7 past Spurs as well. I think that season, past Chelsea as well. They put quite a lot over both legs. And now at Germany, although he still hasn't managed to get Werner to fucking hit the target, I think
Werner has scored though.
The goal is very questionable.
He scored in all 3 games.
Exactly, that's true, I guess. So if based on that, then maybe he's been number 1. But I think I put him at number 6.
Okay, that's fair.
It's going to be interesting what he does with Germany, but I think the way he did with Bayern was so emphatic that you just got to respect him for that. The next one is Conte. Conte, he's a good short-term manager, but in the long term, it seems like there's a lot of disagreements with him and the board, and probably a couple of players as well. But he's won the Premier League. He's a serial winner. He's won the Premier League, multiple Serie A titles with Juventus, and now won Inter as well. And that Inter team was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, serial winner, it's hard to sort
of... I think we've got to deduct someone from 6 to 10. I don't think you can put Conte in 11 to 15.
No chance. So do you want to drop 10 hard to 11?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because he's like, we'll do that.
Now, where would he go in that 6 to 10 though?
But we'll do it like this. If we've got Flick 6, is he a better manager than Flick?
It's a difficult one. He's got his own system and it works perfectly, pretty much, you could say. He hasn't really changed it over the years.
No, and like you said, he hasn't changed it over the years and has gone and won everything over a long period of time. Flick has, like you said, it was emphatic, but it was short. So Whether that gets in his favour, I don't know. But if he'd probably go 6. If not, he would at least go 7th. I don't think.
Yeah, I'll have to put him 6 just because of how much he's won and how he sort of emphasized his sort of tactical beliefs as well. He hasn't really changed it, and it's kept working for him. So you got to respect that. Next one's an interesting one. Pep Guardiola, Fraudiola, whatever you want to call him. Probably managed one of the best Barca teams ever, but he was a big part of that success. So at the end of the 2000s period, went to Bayern, won Bundesliga for fun, but couldn't get past the semi-final. Some of it was due to UEFA and their poor officiating, but some of it was just they couldn't reach that next level. Now he's at Man City, got to that Champions League final, but missed out against Tuchel's Chelsea, but then broke the Premier League 100-point record.
Yeah, goals record. He's broken loads of records since he's been in the Prem.
Yeah.
I think the football he plays is fantastic. Like you said, he had a brilliant team at Barca, but brilliant team doesn't guarantee you success. You've got to have the stars to play with it. So that, like you said, he's a big part of that. And again, he was on, like you said, I think he was unlucky. He probably should have won at least one Champions League. Unlucky in a few, but the Bundesliga titles he's won, I think he won it every year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Maybe missed one out, but I'm not sure. And just won countless trophies. And he's still wins the FA Cup, Carabao Cup most years at City, records. And so, in my opinion, he goes number 1.
Number 1, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know whether this changes because obviously you don't think that with your reaction. Are you saying Klopp should go there, or Tuchel has to go there because he beat him in the Champions League final?
It's difficult. I feel like if he won that Champions League last year, he would be number 1 for me. Because if this is based on his Barca career, yeah, number 1, sure, go ahead. Bayern, he did pretty well as well, so maybe could have kept him number 1. But purely on how much he spent at Man City, he has to have won at least one of these Champions Leagues. And not much how many he spent, the players he inherited as well. Players like Aguero, David Silva, company. I don't think he brought De Bruyne. I might be wrong, but I feel like De Bruyne was there before him. But the sheer amount he spent on players, he has to have at least one Champions League since he's come to England, I think. And it's been 6-7 years. For that, he's top 5, but not number 1 for me.
Everything you said, I agree with you, but maybe I put number 1 just because even though I hate City, I think Pep's football is just the best.
Yeah.
I think he plays the best football in the world. I hate City, but when you see them smashing 6 goals every week and playing, dominating games, it's just good to watch sometimes, even though as a Man United fan. But where would you put him then out of 1 to 5?
He's definitely above Tuchel and Carlo. Right now, for me, he'd be number 2, I think. Maybe I can convince you to put on number 1, but like I said, you can't fault what he's done in the Premier League. He's broken pretty much every record possible. And like I said, it's the goals record as well. You want to see good football, and he provides that. But that Champions League at Man City sort of just make me hesitant, but we'll see how we compare him to everyone else. Next one, your manager, Mr. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's at the wheel. Hasn't won anything yet, but he's getting Champions League football. And he got to a Europa League final after a couple of semi-final defeats as well. It's a tough way to lose on pens, especially when your keeper has to take one. But where is he ranked in this list at the moment?
He's probably going to have to be in the bottom 21, 25. I do think he's improved Man United massively, but been here 3 years, lost a lot of semi-finals, lost a final. Yeah, we were unlucky, but we didn't play well. I think, but he has done good in the league. He's finished second, finished third and second in 2 years in a row. Sorry. So that was a good achievement, but he's got to start winning something. But at the moment, he's won nothing. So he's probably got to put him 21 to 25, and obviously got relegated at Cardiff.
Yeah.
Obviously one title at Mulder, but that's in Norway. So you probably have to put him 21 to 25.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I'll put him, I think, higher than both of them. He's improved United, but I don't know if he's the one who's going to take him back to their Premier League title. Even this season, there's been a couple sort of tactical things. I'm not sure he's made the right choice. But like I said, he's improved United massively since he's come in. He's taken to Europa League final, or even in the Champions League that season. He did do that. And like I said, in the league, it's been difficult because there's been one team that sort of ran away with it each year. But I think still beating the likes of, Chelsea, sort of I think he's finished higher than them both seasons now. He's been there. Chelsea, Liverpool last season, City the season before, I believe. So I think 21, possibly 20 later on, but for now, the next one, I believe, is Gasperini, currently at Atalanta. He's managed in Italy his whole career, hasn't won anything, but was Coppa Italia runner-up with Atalanta twice. In the last 3 years, he's become runner-up twice, and they've been a threat in the Champions League. They almost beat PSG during the lockdown one. I don't know what to call it, but the restart one.
Yeah.
Without his top scorer Ilicic as well, in that they came very close to beating PSG from 2 late goals. But is it again that lack of trophies and sort of just lack of, what's the word? It's like nuance to maybe get him out of that bottom tier.
Like you said, I think lack of trophies. I don't know too much about him, so it's not going to be new. But Man United have got them in the Champions League this year, so it'll be interesting to see how they do against us and how we do against them. But I don't know too much about him. But what you're saying is, he's had a runner-up, managing Serie A whole career. I've seen Atlanta play some good football. They've beaten some big teams, but like I said, no trophy. So the floor is yours. Where do you want to put him?
Yeah, I'll put him in that bottom tier, but he's played some really good football, and the players that are sort of leading Atlanta the last few seasons. I think Castagna is one of them that's done really well at Leicester. Alejandro Gomez went to Sevilla in January, and he's done really well there after doing at Atlanta. I think Gosens, everyone saw the Euros how good he is in that sort of left wing back role, and that's why he did it for Atlanta as well. Zapata's been unbelievable for them, Euro as well, and Ian Romero, who's signed for Spurs now, 50 mil. And that's because of his performances at Atlanta. So he's in a similar position to Ole, I think, as in he just hasn't got that last step to winning the trophy itself. But I do think that last tier, I'll put him just below Ole, I think, because Coppa Italia runner-up's not quite Europa League runner-up. He's won a couple of Coach of the Year awards in Serie A, I think, but he is in that sort of bottom tier. Next one's another interesting one, Brennan Rogers. It's a difficult one. He did the job at Celtic pretty well. He did well at Liverpool, but bottled the title. He's bottled back-to-back Champions Leagues with Leicester, although them getting Europa League is still a good achievement for them. But I don't think I can put him above 16 to 20.
I don't think. Okay. I'm gonna maybe put him in that last spot in 15th there, but why? Because he hasn't won anything really, and he's bottled a few things.
Well, not winning something is part of it, but so the Liverpool one, that's considering where Liverpool were in the previous seasons, I still think that's a good finish for them. Or they got close, should have won it, but that's still a good thing. And again with Leicester, they should go Champions League twice. They didn't, but still good achievements. The big
he
part
won the
for
FA
me,
Cup.
Yeah, they did win the FA Cup. The big part for me is the Celtic part. He won the Scottish League how many times? But that doesn't matter. With Celtic and pretty much Rangers as well, you got to judge them on European action, I think. They always say, they'll be top four in the Premier League or whatever. But in Europe, they were terrible under Rogers. They couldn't if they made Champions League, they were getting knocked down the group stage. And there were times where they couldn't qualify for Champions League. They would get knocked down Champions League qualifying, going Europa League and fail in that as well. They wouldn't do well in that. And you see what Gerrard's done with Rangers in the last few years and how far he's got in the Europa League at least. I think Rodgers at Celtic was a massive failure, in my opinion. He won the Scottish League, yeah, but European action, it was terrible. And in my opinion, because of the way the Scottish League is, and over only two, three good teams, you can't really judge him on that. So for me, that's why he would probably be at the low end of 16 to 20.
But you'd put him lower than the two people that we already have there?
Okay, now maybe put above them, but he's definitely not top 15 for me.
Okay. I hear your points, but I would probably put him 15, but I'm happy to go 16, 20.
The thing is, though, you've got to look at other managers left as well, and there's what,
Let me
2-3 spots there left. So I just don't think I'll take him above anyone that's already in that top sort of 15 area right now. So I'm gonna put him there.
Okay, fair enough.
Next one is Zidane. He's won the Champions League, I want to say 4 times.
Yeah. I think, it's either 3 or 4.
3 or 4 times. He's won La Liga with them. He's like Hansi Flick, but stretched over a couple more seasons. But becoming the first Real Madrid manager to win the Champions League, first manager to win the Champions League in back-to-back seasons since that new format, but then doing it 3 times in a row. Yeah, he had a brilliant team with one of the world's greatest players, but he just did it. That's still not, if it was that easy, let's see, we've done it by now. But
Juventus would have won it last year, and
exactly, like that, and the teams a bit along the way as well. That brilliant Liverpool team, although a bit of help with Karius. It's difficult to sort of keep out of top 5. You put Ancelotti there because of those Champions Leagues and those trophies. Zidane's done that as well, but just not over that long of a period.
True, which probably gives, if they're both won trophies, but like you said, Ancelotti's done it for a longer period of time. It's not like Ancelotti's just started winning in the last 5 years. He's won in his whole career. So that probably gives the edge over Ancelotti over Zidane. But the thing is, we've got Klopp down there, Mourinho down there with what Mourinho's done as well, and then Zidane. So one of them's going to miss out, and Zidane's got to miss out on the top 5. Unless you weren't planning to put Mourinho in there.
I do think Mourinho's done more than Zidane. I think Zidane has to be 6 to 10 though.
Opinion. But then would that be Pochettino out, or would we put Pochettino in the wrong place?
I think we'd have to be Pochettino out. And then I think it would be I think he'd have to be above Hansi Flick because of the way, we discussed what Flick's done. Zidane's pretty much done that, but over a couple more seasons than Flick. It's just with Conte and Zidane, Conte's done it in the league multiple times. Zidane's done it in Champions League multiple times.
It's up to you. Done it in the Prem as well.
In the Prem as well, in Serie A. So which do you think is the greater sort of thing from that? Is it Conte in the league and the Serie A and Premier League, or is it Zidane in the Champions League?
You've probably got to go Champions League, to be honest with you, because the league's hard to win so many times in a row, but no team has been near them really. I know that means they're good, but for a couple of years, they've been the only team in the league, realistically. And AC Milan recently have started coming back up and serve Inter. But for 4 years ago, 5 years ago, AC Milan were finishing outside the top 5.
Yeah.
So, it's probably an easier to win the Serie A with Juventus than the Champions League. So, but that's difficult though. So I think it can go either way.
Yeah, I think the Serie A is the impressive. Winning the Premier League, Chelsea is very good as well, especially in your first season. Where you did that Inter was great, but I think Zidane's Champions League would just have to sort of be a bit higher than that. Like I said, I think it's close, but I do think Zidane's just above him there. And I think, what's going on? Okay, he doesn't want to put Zidane above him. There we go.
Okay.
And then that would move Poch down as well to number 11. Next one, Roberto Martinez. He's had another interesting career. Won the FA Cup with Wigan, although they got relegated that season. Did a good job there. That and they were moved to Everton. He sort of got Everton fighting for Champions League spots, but couldn't quite get there. That was when they had like Lukaku, Kepa Morales, and all of that. Now, Belgium national team manager. He's just sort of one or two steps away from getting that trophy, but third place finish at the World Cup, and I believe it's quarterfinals of the last Euros as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone said Belgium have this amazing team, but they never quite got to that step. You know, they had this brilliant team, but maybe he was the reason why how they haven't got there yet. But
yeah,
it's difficult. Maybe I don't know. Like I said, he won the FA Cup with Wigan, but got relegated in the same season, so
yeah,
it's not great. I'd probably put him 16 to 20.
Yeah, I would do the same. I'd probably put him above Marco Rose, but below Inzaghi. I think, like I said, that Belgian team's they have an unbelievable team, you know. And you could argue maybe he is the reason that tactically they haven't been better in the big games, and he hasn't just tried to work out a solution. So, yeah, I'm happy to put him in this category here. Next one, the special one, Mourinho. He's done it in the Prem, he's done it in La Liga, and he's trying to do it in Serie A at the moment.
He's done it in Europe.
And he's done it in Portugal as well, done it in Europe. That Porto Champions League win is probably one of the best ones there are in terms of some underdog. He's an interesting man. How do you rate him amongst these guys?
You know, it is 10 years ago, he was the best manager out there, but the game's changed. You know, players no more want that. Players don't work off that. You know, out in the press, yeah, he was crap this game, blah blah. Like his man management hasn't changed with the game.
Yeah,
stayed the same, and that's what's let him down. That's what let him down at Spurs, to let him down at United, and that's what could let him down at Roma. But you know, Syria could be the league for him, so we shall see what Roma do this season. But wasn't great at Tottenham. You know, started well, got to a final, got to another final, but obviously was sacked a couple of days before. So we never know what happened. But again, United, he won the Europa League, finished second, but it, you know, the football wasn't great, the mood wasn't great. So, but before that, 2 stints at Chelsea, one in the league, like you said, one in Europe with Porto.
Yeah, it's one in Italy as well, Inter Milan, obviously. But let me read out his sort of achievements. So he's won 2 league titles with Porto, and of course the Champions League. But he also the season before he won the Europa League with them as well. Chelsea, he's won 3 Premier Leagues, FA Cup, couple of League Cups. Inter Milan, 2 Serie A's, couple normal cups in the Champions League. Real Madrid, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Super Cup. United, League Cup, FA Cup, and also FA Community Shield and Europa League. Now obviously Roma. So multiple Champions League, multiple league titles, multiple Europa League titles, and a lot of individual titles. Like I said, now sort of hasn't sort of developed with the sort of how the game's developing and off the pitch. But on the pitch, you can't really discredit him a lot. So in terms of that, probably could say he's above Ancelotti, but would you put him above Pep and Tuchel, factoring in now as well?
Yeah, that's the thing. If we're doing off now, because to be fair, Tuchel did well, but this was the only season really won a major trophy. Did he win the Bundesliga?
Even though what?
Bundesliga with Dortmund?
Nah.
No, so he did obviously won the French league, but you can't count that. Well, obviously you can, but like it's not a great achievement with the PSG team. So it's hard because Mourinho, the past what was he at? 1.5 with Tottenham,
Yeah.
2.5 with us. So you're looking at 4 years. Last 4 years, he's not been great. Obviously, he's won a trophy, but won 2 trophies. Sorry, because he won the Community Shield and the Carabao Cup, and the Europa League. But you can't forget about whatever he's done in what else he's done during his career as well. So I think overall you got to put him in top 5. It's just whether you think he's over Ancelotti, but I think he is overall. I think he is over Ancelotti. Over Tuchel overall, but Tuchel the last couple of years have taken over him. So it's however you want to balance it out. Do you look at overall trophies? Do you look at the last 5 years, last 6 years? What do you think?
For me, I'm not gonna lie, he's number 1. I think what he's done early in his career can't go unnoticed. I think the way he did it as well, like you said, it's a bit like Simeone is not everyone's favorite sort of tactics, but he does what Simeone couldn't do with multiple teams. He's won the Champions League. I think he's above Carlo because they're very similar in what they've done and how their careers have progressed, but Mourinho's a step further with a couple more teams. Tuchel, I just think that longevity aspect from Mourinho and what Tuchel outside of Chelsea hasn't done extraordinarily well. But right now, he is one of the top managers who's right there.
Yeah.
And against Pep is a difficult one to compare, but winning the Champions League at Porto and at Inter sort of just gives him that little advantage, I think, because Pep's only done it at Barca. And like I said, Mourinho's won it, Premier League, not League, Serie A, La Liga, and the Portuguese League. There's just, and even though, like I said, the last couple of years haven't been the best, at Chelsea, he still won the league title before it all went wrong.
Yeah.
At United, he still won multiple trophies. And since Ferguson's left, there are a lot of managers that can say that, he did get them European success.
Yeah.
And at Spurs, he took Tottenham Hotspur to a cup final, which again, and not a lot of managers can even say that. And you probably would have backed him to, if there's any manager you would back to beat Pep in a League Cup final, it probably would have been Mourinho, I think. And he sort of does let other things get in the way of the main goal, off the field. But for me, he's number 1, or at least minimum number 2. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Would you put him above Pep or not?
You do probably, overall your career, if you're looking at that, you probably have to 100%. Especially it's the Champions League with Porto that just it was just brilliant.
There you go. Mourinho number 1 then. Jurgen Klopp, fantastic, I think, career, I would say, so far. Sort of showed his promise at Mainz, won the Bundesliga with Dortmund, and got them playing some really good football with players like Royce, Aubameyang, Götze, Lewandowski, whoever he's had with them.
Yeah.
I believe he was a manager when they got to the Champions League final, but unfortunately did lose out on that. And now at Liverpool, he's won a lot with them. So does he get a last top 5 spot for you, or 4th spot? Yeah.
Who
just whether you put him above, I think,
Tuchel
and Pep.
I think you put him above Tuchel, but obviously it's difficult because Tuchel's come in and won a Champions League without his players.
Yeah.
Klopp came in and took 4 years, but like built a squad over 4 years and won a Champions League with that squad. Or 5 years because it was after, but 4 or 5 years. So whether that's probably more impressive for Tuchel, but then look at it, Tuchel's squad that he took over was much, much better than the Liverpool team he took over.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, he won the Bundesliga with Dortmund, which Tuchel didn't. So I'll probably say Klopp third.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when he took over Liverpool, that Liverpool team was almost not dreadful, but it was no it's what it is now.
Yeah.
They were sort of challenging for Europa League because it's not Champions League. Then even Europa League, he got them to the final and they lost to Emery Sevilla, who they were dominating that competition.
Yeah.
Got to Champions League in their first season and got to the final before Karius ruined it for them. And then the following season, they won it, and they also got the Prem as well a year later. And even now, right now, if you compare Tuchel and Klopp, I don't think there's much between it. You can argue one is better than the other, but it's very close. So I think he would have to go at least number 3 there. There we've got Steven Gerrard. Short career at Rangers, but he's got them back to the top of the Scottish Prem. He went invincible with them in the Scottish League as well. But more importantly, he's got them to the last few. He's got to knockout stages to Europa League, and he's done fairly well there against some good teams. He's got them scoring a lot of goals as well. So, has he done enough to break that top 15 for you?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Not yet, because he's done well in Europe, but it still is a Scottish League.
Yeah.
So I know that's unfair because that's where he got his job and that's the only place he's been. But you've just got that's where he's been, so you've got to look at that. So I do think it's a fair assessment from the 16 to 20. I do think there is a fair assessment. It's just where you want to put him in there, whether he's better than Rogers or not. But like you said, he's done something that Rogers couldn't.
Yeah.
But then Rogers has been consistent in the Prem, so.
Yeah, I do think he's sort of in and around where Rogers is. Like Rogers, always done with Leicester, still very impressive. And I believe he did go invincible with Celtic as well during one season. So I think Gerrard right now probably is 17, but he is one of the more promising managers, I think you would agree, in terms of pretty much everyone in this list. He's up there with Nagelsmann because, you can only take a Rangers side so far and attract so much talent to come there and sort of almost keep your good talent as well. So I think for now he's 17, but in the general scheme of things, he can definitely go much higher in the near future.
100%,
And I'm not going to lie to you, I have no idea who this last guy is. These are top 25 managers in the world right now. I thought that'd be a 20-minute video, but I think it's taken more of like an hour to do it. But there we are. Mourinho 1, Pep 2, top 3 to make our top 3. The sub managers, probably just because they're at the start of their career and progressing, they're a bit lower down. But there's no who you think's number 1, or if there's anything you would change. Jack, thank you for coming on.
No worries.
And well, have a nice everyone.